Hey guys, what's up? I'm Speo with the Voice of Reason, coming at you today with another sound design video. This one is gonna be on a dirty bass that can be used in genres like Electro, Complextro, Mumblecore and all those genres with beautiful names like that. And it should sound something like this. Let's get to recreating it. We'll chuck in a Malström, which has kind of become my favorite device within Reason. We'll bring down the polyphony to 1 and we'll add some portamento, like 26. Now for oscillator A, we want a synth Juno wavetable. That's the Juno or Uno wavetable. And we'll bring down the motion to -40, bring down the shift to -22, and we'll set the octave at octave 2. Now we're gonna route this oscillator, into the shaper as well as the filter B. So we'll check both of these little boxes here, and then we'll set the filter B to comp plus mode, and we'll set the frequency all the way up to 127. We can also give it some resonance, like 36. Now we're gonna use the filter envelope on the Malström to modulate the frequency on the filter B. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the amount all the way up on the envelope, and then check the invert button here, so the attack kind of closes the filter. And we'll set the attack at about 90. And then we'll bring down the decay to about 68. And we can bring down the sustain and release all the way, because we don't need them. Then we can activate the shaper. We can leave it as a sine shaper and bring up the amount all the way to 127. And now we can also deactivate the filter A, because we don't need that one either. Now on the volume section in the Malström, we've got this little spread knob, and what that does, it routes the filter B to the right channel and the filter A to the left, and thus creates a nice stereo field. So we're gonna bring that one up a bit to about 18. We already got a nice sound going, but of course we need to distort it. So we'll chuck in a Scream for distortion unit, set it to fuzz mode, bring up the damage to about 89. You can hold down shift to be more accurate, and then we set the P1 at 80 and the P2 at 90. In the original patch I used a faturator for the distortion, but the Scream 4 in fuzz mode also does a really nice job, as you can hear. Now comes a little tricky part, the equalization. So basically a synth that you distort like this one, that creates a lot of ringers in the frequency spectrum. The ringers are basically frequencies that sound off, they just sound wrong and they are annoying. So what we're gonna do is to identify those ringers, we're gonna select a parameter, bring the gain all the way up, bring the Q all the way up, and then we can kind of sweep the frequency spectrum to look for those ringers and remove them. Here at 405 Hz, for example, there's one that I do not want in my sound, so I'll set the frequency there and bring the gain all the way down. And we're rid of it. Now we'll select the second parameter and do the same kind of, so we'll bring the gain all the way up, the Q also, and then we'll select the frequency and set it at about 663 Hz and also bring the gain all the way down, which just makes for a cleaner sound. Now we'll activate the high shelf, bring down the Q all the way, and we'll bring up the gain to about 7 dB, just to boost some highs. Now we can chuck in yet another equalizer to remove some more ringers. So I'll just select a parameter once again, bring up the gain and the Q, and I'll set it at about 1.4 kilohertz and kill those frequencies. You gotta be careful though not to remove too many ringers, because otherwise your sound will just sound lame and not have any characteristics to it. So I'm already kind of threading pretty close to a danger here by removing 3 ringers, I think. But it sounds pretty nice as it does right now. So what we can do now is we can create a compressor, just to tighten it up a bit, bring up the ratio just a tad, the threshold, bring it down just a little bit to -23 dB. And we can bring down the attack a bit too, so it doesn't punch that much. Then we can adjust the output gain, so we got a nice and loud signal. Sweet. And now to round this whole thing off, we can create a reverb unit and set it to room mode, switch to EQ and bring down the lows. And then don't forget to enable the EQ up here. We'll bring down the decay to about 23, bring the damp up, bring the high EQ up a bit, and set the dry wet at about 22. we can bring the damp up even more to about 110. Nice. So what I did in the example was I automated the shift knob on the oscillator A. So alt click that one and you get the automation line in here. And now if I pull this over and quickly set up my sidechaining, so right click in the dynamic section of the mix channel, and here is my sidechaining combinator, and activate the compressor in the mixer, you can hear we've got our nice bass going. Automating the shift knob, this way you can just create some variation for your phrase here. As you can see, I've just got it up at 0 for this note here, and then bring it up to about -10 on this kind of section, so it just doesn't sound that boring and lame. So if I just remove the automation for now, it just kind of sounds all the same. But if I bring it back in, you can hear we've got some variation going, and those little things make a drop even better and even more remarkable. Okay, that's it for the dirty kind of mumblecore bass. This patch will also be heard in a quite exciting collab I've got going on at the moment, so stay tuned. My name's been Speo, this was the Voice of Reason. I hope that we can see each other next time. Have a good one, or whatever you're having.